You're listening to Real Facts on Real Estate with Sean Patrick Maloney.
That sounds good.
Welcome to episode 14, Real Estate Marketing. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. Thanks for joining me this week. I want to go over an often debated subject in real estate brokerages, and that's real estate marketing. It's been very common for agents now to create teams within brokerages, and they're all creating their own marketing campaigns, they're all creating their own ideas, and they're kind of running every which direction. We're at a point in real estate which I've never seen before where you can see an agent, doesn't matter whether they work for Keller Williams, Century 21, or Sotheby's, or whoever, you can't tell who they work for. You can tell that they work for themselves, which is totally wrong. It's totally going against what Massachusetts requires, and pardon me for the people who are out of state, but we're going to go over Mass law just to keep it simple here. But it totally goes against the laws. Most every state has very similar laws. Recently, I just read an article over in the Inman about eXp Realty, which is a newer group. They are running advertisements everywhere through these team profiles, and they're not actually disclosing that they work for eXp Realty. And eXp Realty isn't even talking about who their real name is. So it's been a lot of issues just like that, and I'm just using them as an example, not picking on them. They're a great group, but lately it's been that these places that allow agents to come in and build teams and cap out and don't actually work like normal brokerages, it seems like with capping out, what happens is a lack of oversight. So I want to go over today what the basics of real estate marketing are and what the responsibilities of a broker to an agent and an agent to a broker are. Again, my concern and my big thoughts on this are these agencies that allow agents to come in and do what's called capping, which is after a certain dollar volume in sales, you no longer pay any commissions. It teaches you right away, number one, no company will make less money because you sell more real estate. And number two, no company in the world can provide you with unlimited auditing of your advertisements and unlimited backing on your advertisements as far as overview and oversight without charging you more money. So that's, I think, where a lot of the concern comes from. And again, also teams growing within brokerages and growing so large that the broker just realizes, okay, these people are doing good, I'm going to leave them alone, which is a huge mistake. So all real estate law in Massachusetts, there's quite a bit of it is followed under 254 CMR 3.0. One of the main ones is broker identification. I'll read the law directly to you. No broker may advertise real property to purchase, sell, rent, mortgage, or exchange through classified advertisement or otherwise unless she affirmatively discloses that he or she is real estate broker. No broker shall insert advertisements or any advertising in publications or other means where only a post office box, phone number, or facsimile, electronic mail number, or street address appears. All advertisements shall include the name of the real estate broker. So what this means is you can't just put a field sign out. You can't just put a sign out in the middle of a field that says, call Marilyn 1-781-508-1234. You can't do that. On it, it actually has to say, call Marilyn of Unicorn Realty Group or whatever real estate company you're working with. This has become more and more common to do with the internet. So with the internet being out there, you see a lot of agents putting out things, call me and I can get you the information about this property. So what's happened over time though, because of the fact that we do have the internet, is there are some exceptions. So on smaller things like tweets and Instagram posts, there is the ability to take the amount of content and narrow it down to a call me. But what has to happen within that is you have to actually link it back to a website or somewhere else where they can find the entire amount of information. So if you're going to be running these short ads where you have little information because you have only a small platform to do so, you need to make sure that that platform links back to a place where they can get the full appropriate information. So not only do you have to put out the broker information, but you also have to remember about fair housing. The fair housing logos as well as slogans need to be displayed throughout your marketing campaigns. And that again, it comes under the same exact thing where the fair housing logo can be downsized or also put in a different page where you land on, but it must be included in some way. So one of the other things that happens with real estate law is we have the group called Realtor. My company is a non-Realtor company, so we don't actually have to follow their rules and guidelines. A lot of people use the Realtor Code of Ethics, which, again, I'm not a Realtor company, but if you are a Realtor company, you may want to look into those ones and follow those as well. I'm going to tell you the next one when it comes to an agent. So agents are often confused. They work for us, and this is what I was talking about earlier with the team profiles and really not understanding that they can't just run their own brokerages. It's very common now, and I'm sure you guys all each know one, or you may even be one yourself, that runs a team and you come up with your own name. Team whatever profile, team properties, select premier properties by Gene, whatever that is, you come up with a name. And I can be honest with you, looking from a broker side, I cringe all the time when I see them, because I can tell you that I know quite a few people, even personal friends, who have a property website where there isn't even a way of possibly telling who they work for. Yeah, they hid the logo down the bottom corner of the page, but that's not actually how it goes. So I'm going to read this next one over to you, which is Agents Working on Behalf of Real Estate Broker, 254 CMR 3.0 9B. Salespeople are prohibited from advertising the purchase, sale, rental, or exchange of any real property under their own name. So what this means is you can't possibly sell it under your own whatever property profile you've come up with or anything like that. It needs to be sold under the brokerage's name. So for a lot of people, when they're putting up these properties and they're building these websites, they're not properly displaying the firm name, which is going to be a huge issue. The Code of Ethics goes further for the realtors out there. It says, you shall ensure that their status as a real estate professional is readily apparent in their advertising, marketing, and other representations, and that the recipients of real estate communications are or have been notified that those communications are from a real estate professional. So again, as far as the law goes, you're prohibited from advertising it minus the brokerage, but for the realtor code, you need to put in, even in your emails and everything, who you are and what you work for as a professional. The next one down as far as state law goes would be truthful ads, and that's CMR 9. Advertising, a broker shall not advertise in any way that is false or misleading. So this one is a little less common, but with photos and with the ability to change photos and Photoshop photos, this is a place where a lot of people forget. So if you're working on Photoshop and you decide to finish the vinyl siding or to paint the lawn green or to do anything, any sort of alterations, yes, any, including painting the lawn green, which is the most common violation, it must be disclosed down at the bottom. So you just need to put in a little information blurb where you say, some minor modifications have been made to the lawn using Photoshop. Just something in general like that. The photo that appears here has been altered in some way, shape, or form. You need to list that. Same thing goes, and I'm sure you guys have seen it out there, where you have a facsimile of what a home is going to look like when it's built. You can't just put the what it's going to look like when it's built and put it up as the house for sale. MLS rules, as well as realtor rules, as well as real estate law, all prohibit that. So this is a triple no-no. You want to make sure that when you're doing anything that's altering the way that a property looks compared to what it is, that it's just disclosed. And again, that has to do with the truth and accuracy of the information on your advertising. Next down, let's go over the fair housing symbol. HUD Fair Housing Advertising 109_30A. Use of equal opportunity housing logo type, statement, or slogan. All advertising of residential real estate for sale, rent, or financing shall contain an equal housing opportunity logo type, statement, or slogan as a means of educating the home-seeking public that the property is available to all persons regardless of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin. And again, this one's one where it may go in even a little bit further if you have local state law that has more protected classes than the ones that I just listed. The choice of logo type, statement, or slogan will depend on the type of media used, visual or auditory, and if the space in advertising on the size of the advertisement. So this is one where fair housing has been very fair with us as far as the fact that they realize that things like Instagram, Twitter, and other spaces may not have the ample space to put the full information. But what this does mean is on a single post, you may not have to put the fair advertising logo or statements or anything, but on the landing page, maybe your Facebook page where you run a group, or maybe your Facebook page where you run an individual business page, or maybe your website. That's places where it definitely should be, as well as in print ads that are large enough. There are different rules and regulations to do with that. You can look them up online without any issue. Just type in fair housing laws and you can get all that information for yourself. But a good rule is to just put it up whenever you can put it up. It's not going to ruin your ad. It's actually going to make your ad look more professional. I think a lot of this comes down to professionalism. A lot of agents, for some reason, are hiding behind this mask of being a broker or being an agent, which is kind of silly because at the end of the day, you should be proud of who you are as a professional. and who you are as a professional is why people should hire you. So when you hide these logos or you do these strange type of advertisements, it actually leads to looking less professional. One of the places that I find this the most true, and this is off subject, but is another place where this happens, is the agency disclosure form. Quite often agents hide from it. Let me give you a scenario. If 3 agents go to the same listing appointment, the first 2 explain the agency disclosure flawlessly. They all say this must be presented at the first meeting of any real estate professional to talk about any specific piece of property. They get it signed, they continue forward, and they go work on their CMA. You, number 3, goes in, and you don't do anything to do with that form. Guess what you look like? A liar and a cheat, because they've both properly explained and they've both properly presented that agency disclosure form, and you haven't, which makes you look like the person who stands out. So again, the way to turn this back into the marketing is think about when your ads look like. Do your ads look like a homeowner trying to sell their home, or do your ads look like a real estate professional trying to sell a home? These are things to think about all the time. If you present yourself as a professional every day, and you always put your best foot forward to make sure that people understand who you are and why you are what you are, you'll have much better luck than you will if you're out there just trying to bait and switch people, putting your name. Like, I can't even believe that some people would want to do it, just putting your name on a sign and a phone number, or putting an ad in the newspaper that says, call John for homes, I get homes for less money, or any of these other crazy things that you see. Now it's gotten into the we buy homes cash and lying about who you are as a brokerage and trying to get people to call you to supposedly sell their home to you for cash, but then only to tell them that you're really a real estate brokerage, and only to tell them that you don't even actually have a cash buyer program and that you really want to just list their home. These are all things that can get us in trouble, and I think that honestly, as we continue to grow as an internet-based world and we continue to grow as a real estate business, which is always seeming to happen, the more population, the more property there is to sell, the more money there is in the industry, the more people that show up in the industry. Well, the big thing is it's getting easier and easier to audit. Through automation, whether you load things on Facebook or you load things onto Instagram or other places, they're now able to audit these things at the highest level through computer automation and read the advertisements, and soon enough it will just be simple as you sit down with an auditor, they open up your Facebook page and they just scroll through. They don't even have to do a research project, and that was actually something that came up in that article I'd read about EXP. Was one of the people that were leading the investigation said, we did not have to do an in-depth investigation. I can show you right now. And they took their phone out and showed everybody. So, this is something where it's going to be tough to lie. It's going to be tough to go backwards and remove. But I think if you were to make the action today and to head towards the right direction, that any board of registration in real estate would support the fact that you finally realized that what you were doing was wrong and that you're moving forward in a positive direction. So like everything with state regulators and state auditors and all the other state laws, they're more interested in educating and making sure you understand and making sure you move forward with a positive light. So don't look back at what you didn't do in the past and think, oh geez, I need to delete that and fix it. But look forward as in, I'm not going to be continuing to have these violations anymore. And if you work for a brokerage and you're having an issue with putting out advertisement because your brokerage is taking too long to audit your advertisement, you might be working for the wrong brokerage. Over here at Movementum Realty, we have myself, as well as an IT professional, as well as an admin, all available to look at all the advertisements and make sure that they're within spec so that you can get something out basically same day, if not within 24 hours, at max 48 hours. A lot of brokerages are not doing this for their agents, and they're allowing you to go out there. Whether you believe it or not, both them, the brokerage, and you, the agent, will both be in trouble. It's not just them. One thing that I always see real estate agents forgetting is you run a company. And that's an important one to remember during this podcast here. You can't just blame your broker. You also run a company. You're also applicable to the laws, and you need to follow all the laws. So when it comes down to who would get fined, they would fine both you and the broker. And chances are, because you're the lesser license, there's a chance that you'd lose your license and the broker would only receive a fine, which means you're out of business and they're in business. They're just a little light on their pockets compared to where they were before. And they can hire a new agent to replace you, and they can blame you when it comes to, oh, you want to join our company because the last guy we had, he really didn't do great with his advertisement. So they can just move forward with teaching the new people the new way and move away from the old people, which would be yourself. So just keep in mind, as much as we want to rely on each other, there is some self-preservation involved in making sure that your brokerage is helping you follow the laws. If you want any information on this, please feel free to reach out to me directly. You can message me, you can call me, email, anything that works. Make sure to follow our podcast, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great week.